a couple of things kind of stand out to me. Number one, you talk about the what did you call it? The U-turn play,
The
right?
U-turn. Yeah.
This takes advantage of a fast flowing defense, of a triggering defense. A U-turn horn play or pin and pull. Al calls pin and pulls horn play. So
One
just
place, yeah.
so
Just a quicker way to say it, Sam. It's just a quicker way to say
I
it.
hear you. It's not in Michigan's playbook, at least as far as we know. We haven't seen Michigan do that, but we did see them do a U-turn counter. Remember
Yes.
that? Remember that? And
Yes.
for much the same reason, I talked about this when we were on with Vance. You remember we were talking about the Iowa game, and I was reflecting upon the Big Ten championship game and said Iowa triggers hard on counters. They blowing the hell out of the counter in that game. Gaddis was able to get him later in the contest. I think he might have RPO'd it or something. I can't remember. Or maybe it was a flea flicker. I can't remember what it
Flea
was.
flicker. Yeah, it's a flea flicker. Yeah.
Right. Right. So he set it up. Michigan coming off of that, you had to know Iowa is going to trigger hard on the counter. Al, it was the first freaking series. They gave him a counter look. You turn the pullers, and it's a convoy to the end zone. Ronnie Bell doesn't even get touched. It's gonna be in Arsenal, man. If I know Sharon, and I know Sharon, it's gonna be in Arsenal, man. Especially with how successful it was for Baylor. Like you still think this is the important thing for you as a play caller. I need you to talk us through. Still things that are in your DNA. Because you remember you said
That'll be in the DNA, right?
Ohio State's not going to do what Illinois did, and they tried it, and they got the hell beat out of them.
Yeah, the hell. Yeah, you can't depart from your culture and make your kids uncomfortable when you've won 13 games doing something one way. Now, that being said, is it really that far from your culture? So if you take something and completely bastardize it and nobody's ever done it before, your odds of success against a good opponent like TCU probably aren't very good. But if it's in your culture, if you're used to pin and pulling, if that's something that you do, maybe there's just a little nuance as to which way you want to run it. But all the rules for the back's the same. All the rules for the line is the same. And you've got how long have they had? 3 to 4 weeks to prepare and practice these things? As long as you don't have 10 of those things, and maybe you just have a couple, 2 or 3 that add nuance to your attack, I think they're very doable. Every team in the country does that. I mean, they will take plays that the opponent has not seen them run on tape, and based on the vulnerability of what they saw in other games, add those plays to the offense. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. But when they do hit, they usually hit big because they have shown vulnerability to that play. Now, you got to decide, Sam, this is the question, the magic question. How much of that do you want to do? Because we know damn well we're running dual plays, right? We know damn well we're running counter plays. That discussion is rubber stamped. Okay, we know we're probably running base horn plays, right? Probably certain games more than others, right? Now, how much of our time are we going to spend on nuance, on stuff that may be common, not necessarily common to us, but just little variations of something we already do? And that's up to the coordinators. They got to say, okay, guys, are we going to, because when push comes to shove, you're going to go back to the womb anyway. You're going to do what you do best. But sometimes those little deals, those little plays I have found, particularly if the opponent has not seen you run them, can be very effective.